Hello everyone. Welcome to your reading today. So this reading today we're going to do is in regards to the galactic beings. So your guides, your extraterrestrial guides, if you want to call them that, or guides from outside of Earth, or maybe even inside, who knows, right? So this is going to be an interesting reading. We'll see what comes through. We're going to use these cards today to pick your piles. So I'm going to select 3 piles as always. They are chunky cards. Okay, I'm going to take this one here. Alright, so these will be the cards that we'll use today to select your pile. Right. So for pile number 1, you have Ascended Master Yogananda and Rhodonite with Empowered Service. This has here Crystal Master 333. Okay. For pile 2, you have Ascended Master Serapis Bay and Clear Calcite with Karmic Grace. Crystal Master 333 as well. And for pile number 3, you have Ascended Master White Matthew and Danburite with Original Self. Again, the same number, Crystal Master 333. Alright, so these will be your 3 piles to pick whichever one is calling to you, whichever piles call to you as well. If more than one, you can obviously pick as many that call to you and watch whichever ones. You can go down to the description to jump straight to your reading. So what I'll do is I'll leave you some time in the video. Other than that, you can pause if you need more time, but pick whichever one calls to you today. Hello pile number 1, welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen card 25, Ascended Master Yogananda and Rhodonite. Interestingly enough, I do actually have a little piece of Rhodonite here, just so you can see what it looks like up close. And interesting that it's also Yogananda, probably a more recent, I guess you would say, Ascended Master, right? Coming from India through to the US to introduce yoga back in, I believe it was the 1920s or around that time. So it would have been a very different America to now, right? It was going through depression, or there was like around World War One. So very, very interesting, right? To be just like, let's just pack up from India and go over there and teach the West, I guess, yoga and other kind of philosophies that would have definitely conflicted with Christianity and the belief system at that time. So, anywho, this is from your Galactic guides. When I was doing this, I was thinking of Intergalactic Council or Galactic Council, or maybe further than that. So interesting. We'll see what comes through. Yogananda definitely has like a pull in this one. I haven't actually read Memoirs of Yogi or anything like that. I know bits and pieces, but his energy is definitely coming through for this. Okay, so let's select your cards today. So your message from intergalactic beings. Normally when I do this, I'm listening to not general radio, but just like calm lo-fi beats and music. Like it's still music, but it's like remixed and stuff like that. It's very calming. And this time I'm listening to just a healing frequency. The hertz is 741. This is the first time I'm doing that, and I felt called to. So hopefully this will provide you some kind of healing. It talks about from like sickness, infection, if you're feeling low or drained, or just you're actually sick, right? You have a flu, something like that. So hopefully this reading can help you with that as well. Why not? Okay, I'm good. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna take all three of these. They feel like they needed to all come through. Okay, we'll find some space. Do you know what? I'm just going to just do it like this today. I'm gonna mix it up. Apparently placement is important right now. So we'll do it like that. Kind of like the backs of the cards too, funky colors. Oh yeah, I'll grab this one first. Which one do you want? This one. Okay. Okay. Well, probably saw that one. I'll leave it flipped up, right? It says here, breakthrough. For a star to be born, it must first collapse. This is not your destruction. This is your birth. Interesting. Yeah, this feels like a big energetical reading. It's interesting because you've got empowered service, which to me always feels like looking after or helping others. And then you've got breakthrough, right? Sometimes it's like the person who's always really there for other people and helps other people and is a good heart attracts the people that utilize that and use it sometimes, right? And sometimes that's where the destruction comes in, or we have challenging relationships throughout life in other areas. So we'll see. I won't try to read it yet, but I gotta say what comes through. We're not gonna have a lot of tarot. Okay, just these three. All right. Okay, that's fine. Tarot is not always needed in the readings that I do, so this is fine. All right, let's take a look at your cards. Okay, so you've got Horus with Cosmic Gateway. It says on the card, your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. It's kind of feeling like death and rebirth, but it's like death and awakening, if that makes sense. Remember, this is Galactic, so they're going to probably come through with some interesting energies. Oh, very nice. So you've got Venusians with romance, soulmates, and empathy. Okay. All right, let's see. You also have the central sun. Interesting next to Horus, because this just feels very like the scarab here or the dung beetle. Sounds nice to saying scarab, right? But you know, that's what they were, and that rolling effect of the dung that they do is like how it was envisioned, or how historians have portrayed it to us anyway, that, you know, that's how the sun came out. It's like rolled out in a sense. So very interesting that they're just next to each other. They don't relate necessarily. This is like probably Ra, and Horus is a different one, but still interesting that they're coming out together. So you've got abundance downloads, regeneration, and success. This regeneration is the theme here. This could be like definitely a feeling of death and rebirth. Okay, so you've got Dewalkul with divine mission. Oh yeah, you're being activated. Okay, so you've been kind of like woken up to complete something. It's interesting. So I don't know if before you woke up or after you've woken up, or you're still on that process. Either way, it's not judged. This is just like talking to it. Make the choices from your heart. Yeah, it's hard when it's like, when they're talking about heart, they're talking about your heart space, not your emotions, not your emotional heart, which I feel like is what we get caught up in a lot. We go, yeah, but I love this person, even though I'm getting abused or attacked, or like mistreated in some sense, or vice versa, or whatever, you know. Again, no judgment. And it's just like, that's not the heart space that I'm talking about, and I don't believe that's what DeWild's really coming through with. He's really feeling like making the right choices, even if they're difficult, right? Leaving this toxic situation, work, partner, cutting ties with certain family members, whatever. It doesn't have to be black and white, like a split. It's just like, we have to have a conversation here. I have to put my foot down at work. I have to do something here to start shifting things. And maybe you've already been through that. Maybe you've already had this. Just because it's centering, I feel like this breakthrough and this like enlightened actions, doing what's right and doing what feels right as well. Even if your fears or judgments kind of make you think that it's not right, it's understanding the difference between what is my ego or fear, like what is fear pulling me towards? Am I not doing this based off my like intuition, like, you know, without fear? Or is it just because it sounds scary, or I'm too tired, or I can't be bothered? Like, there's something there with that. I mean, we'll get to the message eventually. I just want to get these cards out first, because I feel like you know, there was a lot of ascended masters really, or like beings that wanted to come through. So you've also got Lakshmi and Ganesh with prosperity vibrations. You are attracting health, wealth, and happiness. Really cool here. I feel like some of the obstacles that were there in the past have been either removed, or you no longer see them as obstacles because they were limiting thoughts rather than physical or manifested obstacles, right? Sometimes if you try to get into a country or something like that, like immigrate, there's obstacles. But this is like talking about, I can't do this because I'm too old. I can't do this because of my gender. I can't do this because of something. That's kind of lifting, that kind of old energy is gone, or is going. This is about trusting in yourself and not limiting yourself, believing in yourself, trusting yourself. Ooh, okay, interesting. I haven't pulled this card, so I've just never seen it. It's kind of cool. So you've also got the Atlanteans. Maybe this was one of your past lives. Something's been switched on. It's like your light has been switched on to a whole kind of new environment or world. And your guides, these intergalactic guides, I feel like they may not be the guides that are always with you. Some of them might be for certain people watching this, but for some people, I feel like they're there to, you know, switch on certain things, like certain pieces of code or DNA or whatever you want to say. There's something there with that. It's interesting. So anyway, this talks about evolution vibration. You got a lot of vibes, like you're getting the prosperity vibes, you know, prosperity here, abundance, wealth, health. You know, what is abundance to you? Wealth might be money to some people, might be happy family to others, might be not having to worry about anything or certain things in life. Not anything. We want like a little bit of like ups and downs, right? But we don't want like tsunami ups and downs. But it says here, legacy, technology, progress, and expect acceleration. Maybe you're part of the technology. I don't know how that works exactly. Maybe something's going to be found that you are going to connect with, or if you read some of the old technology or some documents or something like that that get discovered, or even that are already out there, that you might have already done that and it's switched on something within you. Now, you're not here to do everything, right? This isn't biblical times. You don't have to be the savior or anything like that, but there's definitely something within you, and it's either, for some of you, I feel like this is where it splits off. It's like either needs to be shared or needs to be realized, or you overcome something that helps someone else, that helps someone else. And you may not even know that, but you know, that person that's confident, that walks into a room and everyone looks and they don't judge, they're just like in awe, right? It's kind of like that energy, your vibration, because this is all talking about vibration. You're getting it to radiate it, essentially. You might do light work, and I mean, I feel like you are doing light work if you're here doing, especially this particular reading, because like I was talking about Yogananda coming in, he came over from India in a time that the West was quite different, right? There was, I mean, I don't know necessarily too much about American history, but I'm sure back then it was still kind of iffy depending on skin color and stuff like that. I mean, it's not great now, but it was much worse. You know, back then there was still that segregation type situation. I'm talking about 1920, so 100 years ago. So I feel like that is a big thing to just go, I'm just going to do it because I trust myself and I believe myself and I believe what I'm doing is right. Right? I don't think you have to do anything grand and big like that. However, I feel like you are going to get what you want when you live in your truth and you follow your calling, so to speak. It's not like destiny, it's just like something that you're interested in. Because you could say, for example, a tennis player they're destined to do this, right? Roger Federer or Nadal or Djokovic, someone like that. The Williams sisters, you know, they might have been destined to do that. Or they could have just followed their calling. Either way, whether you see it as destiny, fate, or just following what felt good or right or correct, they still ended up in the same place. So you can label it whatever you want. But this feels like you following your calling. You doing what feels correct and right in your life. You're starting to shift something. Something has to break for you to be reborn. Essentially, you know, the house needs to be demolished so you can build it in a way that's true to you, especially if there's old energy in there or memories or something like that that you want to clear out. You know, that's kind of the example I'm getting from this. I want to flip this one as well. I do like this, love to the moon and back. It's definitely harping back to the Venusians, not Venetians, sorry, not the blinds. The actual Venusians. And again, you might even have your guide might be from Venus, like from the planet or whatever, however it worked back in the day. I mean, look, I have no clue when it comes to which ET, star seeds, that kind of energy really comes into it. Exactly, right. But there's definitely more out there than we realize, or even that we can just sense and see. There's something more. There's something more out there. And I feel like for you, this is how you'll attract what you want. If you're in a relationship, this is how you deepen it or even move it to the next level. If you're not, this is definitely a sign of finding the right person for you, the right energy for you. But it takes guts, it feels like. It takes like a big kind of mind shift. Now, for some people, a huge mind shift might be leaving the family business and doing what they want, or even leaving this job and switching to part-time in a different business and doing other things as well. Whatever it is, it's got to be what feels right to you. And so those can be huge. And for some people, that might be just like another year, right? They might just swap and change and it's easy. But this doesn't feel like it's going to be easy for you. So I don't want it to be sounding like it's dangerous. It's just more of like, this is a big decision for you. And then afterwards, I feel like in hindsight, you'll be like, wow, that was such a smart, or while it didn't look like a great choice, or didn't feel like I felt scared or whatever you felt, it's worked out quite well. So it's interesting. That's how you get the abundance. And abundance next to the cosmic gateway, this feels like major manifesting energy. And we're coming into, especially if you're watching it around this time when this comes out, this is today on my clock is the 11th of the 12th. So 11/12. There's the 12/12 portal, and also there's a new moon coming through as well. So this feels like what you put into the cosmos or out into the collective or to the universe, that's coming back to you, but not just back to you, it's coming back to in like threefold, tenfold, whatever. It's coming back very strongly, which is good. So make sure you put in exactly what you want. Be very specific and detailed in that. Why not? With the universe, try to be specific, not it's maybe like this, or yeah, that'll be okay. You know, if you're looking for the right person, put the details of what that person looks like, feel how it makes you feel, you know. Make sure they're single, right? You don't want the great guy coming in or girl coming in, which is in a relationship. You know, that's kind of like what's coming through is like be very specific, because your guides are working with you on your side, essentially. What can you get, like, not just what can you get, but what can you utilize that for? Why do you want this? How will this make you feel? Feel those energies when you're putting that in, because it'll be very clear what you want to feel, how you want to feel. If that's job, if that's partner, if that's something else that you really love. If it's money, right? It doesn't, like, no judgment on whatever this is. And don't judge yourself on it. While you're manifesting this, be very clear and state exactly what you kind of want. Okay. You also have the Justice card. You have the Four of Pentacles. I would say with this, don't be afraid of, like, it's almost like it's not losing, but it's like thanking the stuff that you have to trade out for the next. So it's like, you know, the money you've got, you have to spend money to make money is kind of like a saying, but this doesn't feel like that. It just feels like, don't be afraid to lose what you have. Trust that you'll always get an inflow of exactly what you need in any moment. Even if something like disappears, just know that you don't trust the universe that something will replace that, let's say, or that it's always flowing. So it's like, you know, working. It's like you get the money, you spend the money, you get the money, you spend the money. That is a flow. And so it's kind of like that. Don't be afraid of that. This is where she's holding on to what she's got, because she's protecting it, right? And that's fine to protect what you need, your basic necessities. However, don't be afraid to step out of that and into something bigger, or you know, a particular dream. Don't be afraid of that. Of course, with this one, just do what's right for you and everyone involved as well. I just realized I'll be on holiday, so while I was talking about the dates of when this came out, I also will not be here. So this will actually come out the following week, but you can still utilize that energy, right? There's something, it's just because it's a few days or a week before, that doesn't mean you can't utilize that energy, because you've got it in your reading. So use it wisely and use it in a way that feels self-honoring and is right for everyone involved with this Justice card as well. You could even do a meditation to see what that looks like. What does it look like to have this great person? What does it look like to have the job that you really want to do? What does it look like to do the hobby that you really wanted to pick up? What does it look like to change something in the house even? You know, just play with it. Oh, I love this as well. You've got the Page of Wands. Yeah, this is a time to pick up those old belief systems, or maybe not old belief systems, the right word, old, or put away dreams, let's say, and reawaken those. Are they still the dreams you want? Doesn't have to be. You can shift and change them. But maybe that'll help you get onto the path of, oh yeah, I used to want that. Do I want that now? Kind of. Maybe I'll change X, Y, Z, but that's the, you know, it just helps reignite the manifesting energy within you. Because really all this is talking to you going through a huge shift. Don't be afraid of that shift, especially if it's bringing in the things that you really love and want in life. There is the essence of service. So what helps you helps others. There's no it feels like from the Galactic, it's like you're not fighting with other people to get the resources, right? That's very like what we've done for many years. And it just, what does it turn into? Wars, barriers, or like country borders being shifted time and time again. It's played out, it's done, we've done it. You're here to help shift that, essentially. No, that doesn't mean you're going to, you know, become a president or something and just go change it all. Maybe you are. Congratulations if you do that, because you'll probably be one of the ones that actually is here for humanity. But anywho, you can change, you know, you can clear the darkness or light your light in your little corner or big corner, wherever you are in the world. It doesn't have to be as grand as we have it in our mind, and it doesn't have to be as small as we think it may be, right? It's sometimes the small things can roll into something huge, or someone's like, you know what, I am going to leave this person and then remarry and then have children with someone else or something like that, where they could have just stayed, and then those children go on to do something or have children that do something. You know what I mean? It's like it's all connected. It all really is connected, and I feel like they're all saying that, and they're all sending good energy through. But I'm really, really, really happy for you with attracting health, wealth, and happiness and abundance downloads. So you're getting this energy of what to do. You're opening up, I guess, your crown chakra, and it's all coming through. And so you'll keep getting like nudged and nudged and nudged to like look at something. Maybe certain things will start getting harder and harder and harder and harder because it's supposed to be reviewed. Maybe it's no longer what you need to do. You've done the work for 5 years, you know, you've done it, you know how to do it. Cool. You've learnt whatever you've learnt from there, you've gained the knowledge, you've gained the wealth to be able to have a balanced life, and now it's time to shake it up. Looks like they want to help you shake things up, which is typical for the Galactics, right? But yeah, just like this one again, this one flipped out first, you know, besides the card you picked. But it's like, for a star to be born, it must first collapse. This is not your destruction, this is your birth. So I'm going to leave that there. I hope this has brought some kind of light to whatever, you know, you really wanted to gain from this message. This message overall does feel like a whole bunch of you being part of a group of starseeds, I'm going to say. Probably your, what do you call it? The galactic guides that you connect with, or, you know, that you might not even know you're connecting with, are probably, I don't want to say exactly soul family, but they could be related, or like you've had connections with them in maybe, you know, an off-planet life. Who knows, really? You know, it's not what am I trying to say? It's definitely possible. It's absolutely possible. There's no, like I said, there's no limits. Okay, I am going to leave that there for you today, pile number one. I hope you've enjoyed. This is really beautiful energy. It's a huge amount of like good waves of energy coming in. This will roll into the next year as well. I mean, we're coming up to the end of the year, and so that's when we start to shift and change things. This is definitely your time to review it and look at those certain specific things. Are you getting what you need from the people around you, or are you giving what you need to the people around you? You know, it's a whole lot of reflection in a sense, but it feels very quick, so you don't have to think about it too much. It's not about reviewing and processing. It's about getting down to the basics. What's my core values? What do I want? What do I want to give? What am I wanting to draw? What's my goals? And then going straight forward with it. Okay. Well, that's exactly what I see for you today. So thank you so much for letting me read for you. Hopefully you have a good holiday season, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading today. So you've chosen Ascended Master Serapis Bay. Also, I would say a deity, right? Kind of comes through as like a deity, an Egyptian deity. Maybe not exactly, but that's just the vibe I'm getting. It also says here, and clear calcite with karmic grace. That's an interesting word. An interesting, like, karmic grace. It's interesting. Okay, so we'll see what your galactic guides, could be ET guides, want to say to you today. I feel like they want to say a lot. This card's bouncing around all over the place. I'm going to take this one and this one. Okay. Oop. Okay. Some of them keep popping out, and okay, there we go. Some of them were popping out and then going back in, so I was like, okay, not that one, fine. I'll take whatever feels correct. Might do this a little differently, actually. I'm gonna take one more. Okay. So I'm going to try filling this row with some tarot cards as well. This is a little mini pocket version, really handy for doing readings like this because cards get pretty big. Just going to take this three again. I think that's enough. Just because of the light, I might move these over. All right, so let's take a look at your reading from your galactic guides. Let's see. Wow, interesting. You've got Serapis Bay, so interesting because you chose this card with Ascended Master Serapis Bay, and Serapis Bay is coming through here as well. This is talking about ascension. It says here, move into your true self, rise above the darkness, the light is here. Wow, interesting. So interesting that they both pop up, right? There's like 40 something cards in the deck and we've chosen two, and you know, one after the other. It's just very synchronistic, right? You can't just be like, oh, that's a coincidence. Like some stuff just is like, this is no coincidence is the feeling. All right, so you also have a Lady Portia. This is, she's seen as the twin flame, or you know, other half or feminine aspect of Saint Germain, if you know Saint Germain. So this says, do what you feel is right, an important lesson is unfolding. Okay, interesting with lesson and ascension, it's like, you know, you go through the dark night of the soul to awaken. You deal with all your BS, or like not all of it, right? But you deal with a whole chunk of it so you can awaken or level up. That's how this is feeling. It's like you're doing what is right, even if it's hard. So it's going to be interesting. Okay. You also have blue avians with philosophy, releasing karma. Again, karma coming through. You're going through a process of releasing a lot of stuff. That can come through in many different ways. That can come through as challenges, relationships changing, jobs changing, people not vibing with you, right? And then you getting into arguments with like old friends or family. I mean, we're coming up to the holiday season, so I mean, it's probably going to happen anyway. But, you know, you just need to not step into anything. You just need to be honest and true with yourself and say or feel or do what you feel is correct in those moments. You know, obviously in a respectful way, of course, but you know, if someone's disrespecting your beliefs or your existence just by, you know, if people feel disrespected by you just being there, that's on them, right? That's not for you to take on. That energy is theirs to deal with and ask themselves, why are they upset when you're just living your life? You're not actually hurting them, right? Interesting. Yeah, this feels like hindsight. It's like you learn this lesson so that you can keep going with what you're doing, or start to shift something in a way that feels more honoring and true to you. All right, interesting. Dual coming through. He also came up in pile 1, so if you're drawn to that, check that out. In the exact same position, so it's just interesting. This says divine mission, enlightened action, make the choice from the heart, literally what I said just with it here, literally what I just said. Stay true to yourself. This is make choices from the heart, and the heart, again, I said this in the last reading, I won't go too far into the last reading, but in the heart, we're talking about the heart space, not the emotional heart, not like, I'm going to stick with this person even though I'm getting abused, right? Because I love them or something like that. Not that kind of like heart decision, because that's not really heart decision. That's either based off fear or I can change the situation, or I'm not doing good enough. That's kind of like other kind of like issues. This is really doing what you feel is correct for you and the people involved, by just trusting that you're coming from a place of not trying to please people or not trying to keep the things nice and clean or steady. This is what's right. Sometimes the hardest choice is just speaking up and speaking truth. Ooh, enlightened action. Okay. You also have Melchizedek with divine knowledge. Okay. Higher learning, commit to your visions through study. It's interesting here because she kind of feels like a lawyer. Like she's giving like, I mean, here it doesn't look like the energy of that. It looks kind of like, I guess, what would you say? Kind of religious, but she's giving me with this divine order, like doing what's right from like a higher perspective, what's right for the collective, doing your part and what's right. You may need to go on some kind of pilgrimage or something like that, or start to test old belief systems if they don't feel right. And don't worry about the fear-based ones, or the fear kind of like, you do this, you'll go to hell or something like that. Really look at it and review it critically, or even ask a child, does this make sense? I don't know why, but there's like sometimes children, like if you say, do you think it's fair if you do this and this happens and blah, blah, blah? Or do you think this is fair if people like this don't even know about this religion, but they go into a bad place if XYZ, right? Even if they have never known about it. Does that make sense? Sometimes a child will just know, because they'll just give you the clear answer of like what's logical. And as humans, we attach so many different little things to every little thing that we sometimes don't see things clearly. If you have that option, right? Or maybe even tap into your inner child and just look at it through clean eyes, kind of washed eyes with beliefs or old systems, or what is it, like expectations or from like family, or like beliefs, whatever. Oh, because you're a woman you have to be like this, or because you're a man you should be doing these things, you should be like XYZ. None of that. That's how this is feeling anyway. Okay. You also have, ooh, wow. Okay, so you also have Orion activation with supernova, recreation, renewal, rebirth by light. Oh, it does feel like you're actually, it's not easy. Like a lot of the stuff you've probably been through and either overcome or still working through, it's not easy. And they're not saying it is, but it's so worth it. It's so worth to keep continuing along this path. I feel like your galactic guides are being very, how do you say this? Like, I guess because they have from like a higher intelligence, right? They're kind of being like teacher, and they're not being like mother, father, kind of like supportive. They are, but they're also like disciplinary, like teacher and like serious guide, I guess, like a more serious guide. They're not going to be the fun kind of human guides. They're just more like, nope, you gotta do the work, right? They're being very clear, but they're being very loving as well and supportive. It's just interesting. So you've got attract with like the moon and the oceans, you attract good things into your life. Yeah, if you're focusing on the good things in life, you'll attract the good things. If you're focusing on negative things, and that's not to bring it in, right? It's just like, I'm focusing on not finding a person with these traits. I'm focusing on not finding a job with this. I mean, I'm focusing on not finding this. And it's like you end up drawing it because you're so focused on the universe is like, oh, they love this, so we'll keep showing them what they don't want to see because they really want to see it. Instead of all that, just focus on what you want. Make it clear and clean and easy. You also have the morning star with keep shining when the others have quit. Interesting. That's such a deep message. This is tough. I feel like this is hard. Like it's a good card. It's a nice card, but it's like this whole reading feels like you've kind of had leeway maybe in the past, or you haven't with certain people, or even like your purpose. Like, let's say you reincarnate, you come down into Earth, you have a life, that kind of thing, but certain things that have happened have been much harder than anticipated, let's say, but you've still been able to overcome certain things. Certain things shouldn't have been exactly like that, or maybe you've taken on a whole lot of stuff that wasn't yours to hold on to. This is definitely cleaning some of that out, or you've kind of processed it slowly over time and now it's starting to reap the benefits of that, if that makes sense. All right, so you've got the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, it's taken time. It's taken time. Maybe this is tough too, because this is to learn how to trust and weave a life or weave a creation with others, trusting other people. And this is outside of your family. Like if you're a parent coming through here, there's something here with like this almost like in defense mode all the time, needing to protect, even though there's no threats, right? But if you're always in that, you're drained because you're always like vigilant. And this feels like opening up and connecting and creating with design. Over time, this is slow. This is slow healing. This is slow moving. It might be slow, but it's big. It's a big shift. It's been a big shift. Might be going through like a shift from like here to here, but it's like it's taken years, let's say, but it's been like, if you look back, it's like a huge change. So it's good. It's good because it's a better than where you like might have been mentally or emotionally in the past, or even physically in the past. But yeah, your guides are definitely pretty keen to keep going and get this through, because you got like even the philosophy in Melchizedek with higher learning. This is like there's been purpose in all of this. What is that? Maybe you're going to help others in some way. You're going to create something that will help others go through what you've potentially been through. Yeah, standing in your power, you got this strength card coming through, to have strength and to keep continuing along this path. It's a tough one, because I think some of the decisions have been tough. Try not to procrastinate as much on this. Try not to be tough on yourself with like, have I been doing the right things or anything like that. Trust yourself. There's a lot here to learn. There's like, it's like something opening up that's like, you know how when people, like the kids, I know Willy Wonka's coming out, so it's probably just popped up because of that. But even the old one, like going into that land pretty much of like the chocolate river and all the stuff that you can eat, it's like giving that energy. It's giving like, there's something much brighter and better on the other side that you wouldn't even have dreamed of, which is really beautiful, considering the certain things that you've overcome or come from to get here. And I also think even some of your guides have probably thought that you know you've done well, you've done a good job, because this feels like other guides are coming through as well with this reading. It's like your guides are also being like, wow, you know, you've overcome many things. Many challenges. So that is exactly how this feels. I feel like your overall message from your Galactic Council or from your Galactic Guides, ET Guides, they're just really saying you're going through a big shift. You're starting to make choices that are based off your heart space, off your light, instead of holding on to negative grudges, wanting revenge, anything like that. That's all getting shifted, or it's all starting, like it's not just getting shifted, things don't just shift, you're moving it, you're shifting it. So that's all getting shifted in that sense. All right, well, I hope that's really helped you, and yeah, it's a beautiful reading. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. Have a good day, and also enjoy your holidays if you celebrate them. Otherwise, take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading today. Thank you very much for being here and letting me read for you today. So you have chosen Ascended Master White Matthew and Danburite Original Self. Now, I don't know too much about this Ascended Master. But original self, very clear what that's about. So we'll take a look at your reading. You've chosen this particular pile based off original self. So we'll have a look, grab some cards and see what your message is from your galactic guides, your extraterrestrial guides, maybe even like starseed type guides. Okay. Okay, so there was 2. Just 1, all right. Might put these up here. Okay. I thought it was that one, I just wasn't sure. Okay. Just so you know, these have been shuffled beforehand. I'm gonna take this one too. I think we can squeeze them in. Can we squeeze them in? Yeah, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. There we go. All right, let's take a look at your cards today and your message from your galactic guides. Oh wow, so you've got the Holy Spirit coming through with expect miracles. Remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. Okay, very cool. I'm kind of getting a message already, but I just want to check all the cards. Yeah, wow. All right, so you've got inner strength with rigid. Move back to wholeness. Recognize that you have the power. Yeah, this is all about you. I mean, you chose the card original self, getting miracles and inner strength. It's all coming from within. So you also have Acturians. Maybe these are your guides coming through today. Very cute. It says here, feeling safe, wisdom keepers, and concern. It's kind of interesting because there's that bubble, right? Which is see-through. You can see what's there, but it's like, is it protecting? Is there a need for it to be there? Is there a need to protect yourself? Because it's like, you are safe. I want to say to be true and say what you feel is correct and do what you feel is correct. All right, let's just keep going. Otherwise I'll get caught in talking about the reading before I've got the cards out. Ooh, okay, so you've got the Chamber of the Violet Flame with karmic release, radical transformation. Okay, so you are going through a change. Everyone seems to be going through a shift. Green Tara coming through with healing light. Love that, especially right next to here, because karmic release is like things we're holding on to. It's like that burning into the flame, right? Into the violet flame, and she's even got her flame. So it's like we're releasing stuff so we can reignite our own inner fire, or our own God self, so to speak. This is healing light, wellness unfolding. Know that healing is a journey. Yep, there's no rush to this. You're taking your time on your own processes, whatever they may be. You also have Kuan Yin with enlightened action. Choose compassion, move forward with grace. Really beautiful here. I do like how all these ladies have like, or these feminine figures have like, you know, the cup, which feels like divine feminine energy, and this, what is it? Dove? The flame, it's all coming from the chest, and then they've got lotus flowers here as well. So it just feels like this is about your heart space, not necessarily just the chakra, maybe the chakra included, but the heart area, what it radiates, what your signature signal is as an incarnated human. feels like very spiritual, I guess this reading's going to be. It does show certain things within the reality, making sure you're continuing to do what is right for you and for others by just being yourself, being your true self. How do you know what your true self is? What does it feel like what do you feel like when you do something? Does it feel right? Does it feel not right? That's how you can identify what's true to you. What are you can scale it all the way back to what's your 3 core beliefs? Write them down. Like that kind of thing. What is this? When someone does this, how does it make you feel? Not about judging it, just like does what they do feel right to you? And then you can be like, no, that doesn't feel right. Do I like to eat this? No, I don't like to eat that. It's like identifying throughout life what you've taken on and what you don't need to hold on to. But it feels like there's something in the heart space that no longer needs to be there. Maybe a person, maybe a belief system, maybe you were told something as a kid and now you've taken that into adulthood. Something is ready to be released. That's how the change occurs. It doesn't change by it just changing. We talk about like over time, things just get easier. But if it's still there, it's impacting your daily life, then it's time to release an aspect of it or all of it. You don't need to hold on to it. Sorry. New horizon. Old ways won't open new doors. That's why we're releasing it. That's why your message is about releasing it. It's to ensure that you're not giving yourself away, in a sense. You're not giving your heart away to an ex. They may not even know, right? They have no idea, but you still think about them. You're still angry about them, or you're still like longing for them or something like that. It's just an example. Or like a challenging parent, there's still resentment there, even if they're still here or past, regardless. It's like, well, I didn't get closure on this, anything like that. There's like this need to release it from the heart space and fill your heart up with like loving energy. That's how it feels from your reading. Wow, look at that. New doors and spot new opportunities. You've got discover, spot new opportunities. Yeah, new things will be popping up for you. You ask your, if you do human design, you ask your sacral, or you ask your, you trust your design to like see how it feels. You can also just trust your whatever comes through and trust yourself. But if you're having trouble with that, check out your human design and see if anything resonates there. Are you like a generator where it's like trusting your gut instincts, or like if people ask you certain things and you're like, then don't do it. If you're like, and see those grunts and sounds, sometimes those certain sounds will be like a key to whether you should or shouldn't do something, just as an example. All right, so you have the 6 of Swords, definitely moving on from the past to something much better, but this has been through challenges, right? You had to get to from the Ace, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5 to get to the 6. It's been a challenge, but this is worthy of releasing some of that. And it feels like your guides are actually towing you towards they're leading you towards the right space. Does that mean you won't have any more things to heal? Probably not. It's a journey though, like it says in the card. It's not about you're either good or not. It's not a switch, not like a light bulb. You have Temperance, co-create. It looks like the new moon too, which you would have had by the time this video comes out. The new moon would have passed. But it's like your light and your shadows. Almost grabbing the sun and highlighting your shadows so you can see exactly what they are. Instead of fearing what they could mean or what they might be, having a look at what it is. It's like, an example, I don't want to go into this particular room because I don't know what's in there. And you worry and worry and worry about it. Why don't you just go in there and have a look? It's probably less traumatic and horrible if you just go look into it. Even if it's like something terrible and you get shocked and leave the house, good, at least you're no longer in that environment and don't have to worry about it. You can just leave. That's kind of like, probably not the best example, but that was what came through to mind. It's better to just be very clear on what it is. If you're worried about what a partner might think because you have an idea of what you want to do or shift the relationship or change something, just say it. Have a, you're both adults, have a proper communication conversation about it. The worst thing I think that can happen is by not honoring your inner fire or light. That's really where this is coming from. Now, I know I've chopped and changed between, it could be past things, could be something you need to say, but this is a general reading, and it could be true to all or both. Like, you might be not wanting to say something because in the past, if you said something, you were shut down or it hurt to get rejected or something like that. Oh, you've got Magician. Yeah, you're actually a powerful being, like with the Magician. This is showing your actual potential. Like, I don't like saying potential because it seems like loaded, but you have a lot of energy and power to channel into things that are going to be more prosperous for you, more abundant, more happy, more healthy for you. It's all about ensuring that you're being true to yourself, dressing the way you want, doing the things that feel correct to you, all within reason, obviously, making sure that you are protected as well, and it's not at the cost of other people's free will. Wow, you're really getting the message. So if you chose pile 3 and you're like, it could be this, you're getting the message. You got the 2 cards that are about leaving a situation or leaving a particular place that was comfortable and into your light, right? Walking towards the sun. There's new horizon. Look, she's literally looking like it just feels like she's going into like a new space or a new place because she's done with here. It wasn't bad here, or it wasn't toxic here potentially, but there's something better that's out there for you to explore, experience. I was watching House Hunters International, and these ladies moved to, I can't remember, I think it was like Spain. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Spain. Anyway, they moved to Spain, and they just talked about like, you got one life, treat it as if it is, because you get one life in this particular body, in this particular mind, with like things as they are, right? And this particular incarnation is just this one chance at this kind of thing. So why not make it your own? You don't need to be told who you are. You don't need to be told what you should do or where or how to act. What you should do is what feels right to you. And holding on to grudges and then expecting that from the next person or from other types of people, so being on the defense or attack, is not going to get you to where you need to be or where you really want to be. I feel like angelic guides are also coming through for this reading as well, especially with the Holy Spirit. Just feels kind of like not religious but spiritual, and maybe taking some kind of like the lighter attributes from religion, right? The good kind of like learnings and lessons, the real teachings that were actually in the light, not some of the more shadowy stuff. But yeah, it does look like there is something to release, to step into. So this is how it's feeling. It's like, release what doesn't serve you. Know that you're healing and growing and becoming more of who you are. No need to self-judge or judge others. This is about choosing a new path, releasing the old. It kind of feels like, not that she is, but it's like, she's like, it feels like she's throwing out something out of the boat. She's throwing something out of the boat, and then she's walking away and stepping into like, what do I want? How can I co-create with others or my guides to get what I want? Your intergalactic guides are feeling very supportive and loving. I'm assuming that they probably are. Like, Ectorians for me always feel very like protective but also intelligent. These are kind of feeling like lovey, kind of like high vibe energy, like Palladians, something like that. But I mean, I have no idea. It's just, I mean, also individual people, different kind of star systems, right? I mean, you could have even had like life in many different star systems, right? We just kind of connect with one at certain times of life, or if you are into that. If you're not into that, then you don't need to be. But it's just like, it's very, very that, like, we've had many different lives. We're also humans right now. So human star seeds, right? If we go to another planet, like, oh yeah, I was a human. I chose to be a human. That was a crazy idea. But yeah, really interesting here. Healing's a process. Healing's a journey. You're recognizing that you have the power, drawing back the energy of where you've given it away, you know, to past loved ones or parents or teachers or friends or something, whoever's hurt you, or situations that have occurred, and releasing it. It no longer needs to be out there. You're too spread out, and that can be draining. You might not even be sleeping very well. Bring that back in. Know that what's yours and what isn't. Release what isn't yours to the flame, or even to the people that, you know, where it came from, because they might need to process that themselves. Whatever you feel is correct, and that's exactly what I see in this particular reading. I am going to read, there is one thing here, just give me a moment. So they're saying to hold this card up and say this out loud. It says, I choose of my own free will, through this and any lifetime, and through all layers of my entire being, to forgive, release, and free myself unconditionally from any judgment, shame, confusion, doubt, manipulation, or projection about who I am. May all beings be free and supported to discover and love who they are and why they are here. Through divine grace and unconditional love, so be it. So there you go. Your reading is very clear what this is all about. Your reading all pretty much draws straight back to here. Your power, your healing process, your protection, your gifts, and your energy of what you can create and what you can experience is all coming through here. And it's really all stemming from this particular card, which you chose. So really beautiful reading. I really hope it's helped you today, pile number 3. I could sit in this energy for a long time. I also just realized that the music changed as well. And what's playing is Spiritual Healing Sound Bath, Releasing Pain, Transformation, Awakening to Your True Self. So if that wasn't a sign, I don't know what is. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. So thank you so much for letting me read for you today. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Take care, and I'll see you in the next reading.